to help people to learn our language by just talking. Hi there, Steve Kaufman here. Now, what I'm doing now is a short introduction to the video that I have already made and which you're going to see, where I talk about how I enjoy listening to people talk in the language that I'm learning, and listen to them over and over again. And I thought about the title for that video, and so I thought I should maybe make this brief introduction to justify the title. The title I have is Talking Our Way to Fluency. So what do I mean by that? I mean other people talking to make me fluent. And I think what my video will talk about in greater detail is this tremendous opportunity we have to help people to learn our language by just talking. So I can't talk my way to fluency in Persian, but if other people talk in Persian and record themselves, that'll help me achieve fluency if I keep listening to it. And even such things as my videos here at YouTube, in fact, are great examples of me talking to help other people achieve fluency. And I hope other people do the same about themselves, their lives, what interests them, which in my case is language learning, but it might be music, it might be cooking, it might be history, it might be sports. We can talk other people's way to fluency. So we can talk our way to fluency as a collective effort. I just wanted to throw that in there to start the video. Now on to the main video. Hi there, Steve Kaufman here. Again, to talk about language learning. And today I want to talk about my experience with people just talking about themselves, recording themselves, and being able to access this as language learning material. If you like my videos, please subscribe. You can click or tap on the bell to get notifications. And by all means, come and join me at Link to learn languages. So today was a cleanup day. I spent a good portion of the day putting things away, mess, whatever. There's just an endless amount of things to do to clean up. And for much of that time, I was listening to a series, to a course at Link called The Iranians. The Iranians has actually 46 lessons in it. Predominantly different people talking about themselves. Some of the lessons, some of these monologues are followed by sort of circling questions to help, nail down some of the vocabulary. Those are the ones that are done by Sahra. But there's a number of people in there, people who, they're interested in music, or they're interested in food, or they talk about Yaldo, which is actually yesterday or today is the sort of the shortest day or the longest day of the year. I don't know which one, but the shortest day, or when the days start to get longer again. In other words, it's around the 21st or 22nd of December, which is a very ancient festival in Iran, Jashne. And so there's all these stories, 46 of them. And so I'm listening to them, and I just check my playlist, because what I love to do is I just go to a course and I say, play course audio, and I shuffle it, and then I'll be if I'm working around the house now for like 3-4 hours, I'm just listening to all these stories. And I've listened to some of them 10 times, some of them 4 times. It shuffles. It depends when we got them into Link. And of course, the first few times I listened, I didn't understand that much. Now I understand a bit more. Still lots of words that I don't know, but I become more and more familiar with the phrases and the words, and besurate, like a lot of their sort of connecting phrases that they use. And it's just a wonderful way to learn the language. It's so much more effective. It's so much more alive than a conventional textbook. And I can always look things up grammar-wise if I'm curious, but I'm not, basically. I just want to get used to this, how they use it. And in Persian, there's this sort of formal way they speak, and then the more conversational way. And of course, these are more conversational, and so you start to get used to them, because it's one thing to be told that there's a more formal and a more conversational, but when you actually hear people using this conversational form, you start to get, used to it. And it sort of dawned on me that, you know, uh, so many things have changed. Like nowadays, anyone with an iPhone or a Android phone can record something like this, 5, 6, 7 minutes, where they went to school, they changed their jobs, the food they like, where they want to travel, uh, whatever it might be. It doesn't matter. You can even do, a dialogue. Except nowadays with COVID, that's not such a good thing to do. However, you can do it like when I do my videos for Skype. Typically, I use or for link for this channel. Typically, what I do is I use Zoom or Skype to connect with the person. But I look at my iPhone, they look at a separate camera, and then we merge the audio and video files. But you could do that with pure audio as well. So you could also create, dialogues. And so that's there now. The quality of the audio is so much better than it was, 10, 15 years ago. And now, of course, what's often troublesome is to then transcribe your 5, 7 minute conversation or monologue. But you can, of course, transcribe it, or you can get, automatic transcription. And if you're a native speaker and you have this automatically transcribed, then you can quickly go in and correct it and put in punctuation. We are looking at ways that we can get more participation at Link, where if people do put up audio material, maybe we'll look at how we can get some of that transcribed and whether native speakers can help us fix them up a little bit and put in punctuation. The punctuation is quite important because if you can actually have sentences that are actual sentences in sentence mode rather than long paragraphs, that is sometimes the case, then that makes sentence mode even more powerful. As I've described, I do that with my Al Jazeera podcasts. Where they're timestamps, I can relate the audio to the sentence. But the sentence is sometimes a long paragraph, which isn't all that great. But this idea of getting to know people. So, I'm learning Persian. So who are the Iranians? What do they think about? What are they interested in? One person is interested in different traditional Iranian musical instruments, for example. So you get to know some of them, even though you don't know them, you haven't met them. But, learning about people through the language, it's a tremendous sort of intermediate type of content between our mini stories, which have a tremendous amount of repetition and which enable you to go from literally nothing to where you can understand some things because there's just so much repetition. Now you go to something where it's a little more interesting because you're actually hearing real people talk about their lives, but it's still relatively easy as compared to, say, an article in a newspaper. And yet you're learning about the people. So I think this is a great way to generate learning material. I hope people do more of it. I want to hear from people who want to do more of it in their native language. I think it's a great way to work to, maintain or encourage people to learn some of the lesser studied languages or even threatened languages or, indigenous languages or things of that nature, because it's so easy to create this. You don't need, typically here in Canada, at any rate, if they're going to talk about, what are we going to do to preserve native languages? Well, some consultant will be in there for a big fee trying to build a big grammar book as if there isn't one already and no one's going to look at it anyway. Whereas really all you need is to get people who speak the language naturally to just record themselves talking about things that matter to them, and then to somehow get that transcribed and then make that available for people to use. And as long as there's online dictionaries, we are ready to roll. So I just wanted to comment on how much I enjoyed my day getting to know these people in this course we have called the Iranians. And it sort of fills out my understanding of Iran. I have the history series that Sahara created. She put up a lesson on Iranian bread. She has one on Iranian food. She has one on ethnic groups in Iran, and history, of course. And now I have the Iranians talking about themselves. So it just fills that whole picture in. And as you're listening and learning about these people, you're learning the language. So that's kind of where, language learning is going. Thanks for listening. Bye for now. And Merry Christmas and Happy Yaldo, whatever they say in the Iranian. I don't know in Persian. And yeah, we'll be talking again. Bye for now.